Hi there. Welcome to 2020. I'm not going to make one of those cheesy jokes about 2020 vision and this being a photography related channel. Instead, I just leave everyone with best wishes for this year, and hopefully, since this is a photography channel, hopefully your photography will see, how should I put it, some invigoration this year. Well, looking back at 2019, now that the dust has settled, you might say, over the past year there have been a lot of new announcements in gear, most of which were almost immediately met by scathing reviews. And here we are, a year later, and most of these people have somewhat recanted on their opinions and pointed out the fact that, let's face it, all of the cameras that have been introduced in the last 2 years, say, are good cameras. I mean, there aren't any bad cameras. There are cameras that are bad for certain things. There are cameras that are much better at certain things. So you really, when you go to purchase a camera, you should not be thinking, oh, well, what's the brand camera or the model camera that such and such the YouTube influencer, love that word, YouTube influencer uses. Well, stop and think. What does that YouTube influencer use that particular camera for? Is it mostly for vlogging? Is it for shooting lots of B-rolls so that his videos will look pretty? Is there actually a product that you can see, an actual final product in terms of still images or video that really you find intriguing enough that that is what you want to do? Because let's face it, that person may have chosen that camera because it fits so well with what they do. They may not be into sports. If you need a sports camera, the camera they're using may not be the camera you need. Maybe you want to do a lot of macro photography. Maybe the particular lenses that will give you the best macro images and the processors that give you the best processing to produce these good macro images, things like focus stacking and so on, may not be available in that particular camera. So guys and girls, think about it. Don't go out there and purchase based on what Mr. or Mrs. Internet is using. Instead, go out and actually check out what you need a camera for. Me, I've been waffling around with several different systems over the past few years. However, there have only been two that I have seriously clung to. One was Pentax. I still use my Pentax gear quite often. I find that for portrait work and for flash photography and things like that, it is an excellent tool. Now, as you are probably aware, Pentax is not exactly burning up the internet with a bunch of new products and huge sale numbers. They are basically kind of limping along. Now, does that mean that I'm going to stop using Pentax? Of course not. I have a good camera. I have good lenses. Am I going to continue to grow with that system? That will remain to be seen. I'll have to see what happens. I don't want to invest a lot of my effort and a lot of my cash into a system that just disappears. Some camera companies have totally abandoned a particular lens mount, for instance, in the past. Just bang, that's it, it's gone. Pff, too bad. And at a time when some people had been investing heavily in it. Now, those companies managed to recoup that by coming out with a technology that was so much better that people stayed with them. But I don't see that happening right now. I think that technology, at least in terms of my needs for technology, has pretty much evened out. Now, I mentioned one brand. The other brand that I use extensively is Olympus. Now, Olympus is also one of those brands that the naysayers have been predicting the death of now for, well, ever since Panasonic came out with a full-frame camera. That's it. They've been writing off Olympus as a dead issue. But let's be serious now. Unless you have a specific need for a full-frame camera, then the actual difference between most APS-C gear and Micro Four Thirds gear is not tremendous. And most of the top-end Micro Four Thirds cameras have extremely good performance. I'm shooting on here, and most of my photography is shot on a generation old Olympus camera, the OMD EM1, the original, not the Mark II. Would I like to have a Mark II? Of course I would. It has a lot of compelling features that would, in some cases, be useful. However, this camera here is serving my needs quite well. I'm getting sharp images, I'm getting images that process well, and even my low light images aren't that bad. In fact, my EP5, I think actually might be a tiny bit better in low light even than the EM1 here. Now, that's just my perception. That's not a measured value. Don't go out there and say, well, you know, he said that this camera is better in low light. No, I said that from what I can see, it appears to be. Anyhow, enough waffling on about cameras and camera gear. The thing is, with this year ahead, make sensible choices. Get out and take lots of pictures. Find your niche if you need one, or just shoot everything if that's what you want. I've found that over the past few months, most of what I've been doing has been just a family record. Most of what I have been doing is simply taking family pictures. And that's very fulfilling, because what I have then is a record, a shareable record of our family. A shareable record that hopefully will still be around, well, long after I'm gone. Hard to say, unless it's actually printed and something that we can actually hold on to. There's always that little doubt about things that are disappearing into the ether. I mean, who knows? But at least I'm making that effort. Recording the growth of a family, recording the interactions within that family, recording those special moments in the family. I think that's very important. And it's something that many of us who take up photography as a hobby tend to forget. So guys, not much of a takeaway from this particular video. Just please take all of the reviews and things you see online with a grain of salt. Make sure that before you make a purchase, which in today's market is a rather substantial economic hardship. I mean, most cameras are not inexpensive. Before you make that purchase, make sure that this camera has what you need. And if all that fits, there you go. Meanwhile, in photography, don't forget the family. Don't forget the people close to you. Friends and family, they're going to be going around with their phones, clicking. Most of the phone images, even with the best phones now, the fact that many people use them carelessly means that the image quality is usually very poor. And it's not necessarily the phone's fault. I have a Pixel 2. Basically, I guess it's 2 generations old now. However, it does take excellent pictures. But only if I use it properly. If I just, sort of point it and hope for the best, it's like any camera. If you don't develop some skills in how to use it properly, it's not going to give you the images you need and want. All right, folks. As I said, I hope everybody has a very productive, a very healthy, a very enjoyable 2020. And hopefully I will be seeing, or you will be seeing me. I won't be seeing you because all I can see is that lens. But you will be seeing me again sometime in the not too distant future, hopefully with something a little bit more substantial to say. Well, if you like this video, give me a like, If you want to see more of my videos, then subscribe to this channel. And of course, if you know of someone who maybe could get something useful from this or any of my other videos, by all means share them. And bye for now.